I interviewed one of Soundgarden's producers a couple of weeks ago, and he mentioned that Chris did something that he thought was unique when it came to recording vocals. He was very open and friendly, but when he did vocals, he wanted to be left completely alone. Is that
Oh,
accurate?
he did. Yes, that's true. I'll vouch for that. He disappeared with Steve Lillywhite into a booth that was completely out of the view of where I was in the control room. And then Steve worked on his vocals intensely, or at least talked with him, and you know what I mean, to try and make him really relaxed and comfortable. He didn't want to. He was very conscious of not wanting to shout out his voice.
Hmm.
So he was a very private person on that aspect of it. You know, I heard playbacks after he laid down some vocals. They were terrific. But I didn't see the process or hear them work together. They just went off into this little vocal booth.
From your experience with various vocalists, is this generally how it works, or is this?
Not necessarily, no. Like Jeff was, you know, when I worked with Jeff Buckley, first of all, we weren't in very huge, elaborate studios, but at Bearsville, where a lot of the vocal tracking was done on the Grace album, he was just out there in the main room. They had multiple mics on him, and he was totally visible singing from where you were in the control room. He was not self-conscious about it at all. Then later, you know, when he did some other tracks, he allowed cameras to shoot him, and yeah, some of the videos from the Grace album show him singing the vocals down. So he had no problem with that. You know, he wasn't so private or shy as Chris. Chris definitely was like, I gotta be left alone to really focus and bring the best out of me.
Would you say that's a shy thing, or is it that's just how he operates? It's easier for him?
I don't know. I mean, he had a shy side. I mean, I think he was a super guy. I have nothing but nice things to say about working with Chris. He was very, very pleasant, sensitive. A couple of days in after I'd been out there, he was late showing up, but when he did show up, he said, "Man, I almost died out there." So what? He said, "Yeah, I was almost run over by a truck." He had a motorcycle. He also had a car, you know, that was similar to the James Dean death car, I think, the Porsche Spider, which he pointed out to me. But this day he was on his motorcycle, and he said, I was at a light about 5 blocks from here, and this big truck ran the light, and I almost got run over, and I'm lucky to be here for you. That was like, you know, intense. Other than that, no, he was very, you know, focused on the work, and he had a lot of friends who were always texting during the session, so he was in touch with his network, his support network. And yeah, you know, I talked to him a little bit about Jeff Buckley, what that was like working with Jeff, because he loved Jeff. I met Chris at a wake that they had when Jeff died, and that was 97, I believe, 1997, if I'm not mistaken. And Chris gave me said hello to me and came up to me, and he was a super nice guy. Remember, he was like really friendly and kind of shy.